May the Triple Gem bless you, Venerable Bhikkuni Dhammapali. We know that in Buddhism, there are 4 groups of people: Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika. Today we are going to talk about the Bhikkuni Sangha. First, tell me, Venerable Bhikkhuni, what is the beginning of the Bhikkhuni order in the world?
May the Triple Gem bless you too, Venerable Bhikkhu. Now, when we talk about the beginning of the Bhikkhuni order, it goes as far as the beginning of the Bhikkhu order itself. Bhikkhuni order was established at the request of the mother of Prince Siddhartha, Venerable Queen Prajapati Devi. She first made the request to establish the Bhikkhuni order within 1 year of the enlightenment of Lord Buddha. We all know that Lord Buddha visited his birthplace of Kapilavastu after 1 year of enlightenment. And it was during that visit that the mother of Lord Buddha made the first request to establish the Bhikkhuni order. But at that time, even the Bhikkhu order was not established properly. Therefore, it was too early, obviously, for a female order to be initiated, and the request was denied. But later, after 5 years of enlightenment, or 5 years into the Buddhahood, Prajapati Devi again made the request along with other 500 princesses and queens, and she gained the permission from Lord Buddha to enter the order. So it was only after 5 years into the Buddhahood that Lord Buddha laid the foundation to establish the Bhikkhuni order in the world. And the very mother of Prince Siddhartha, or Lord Buddha, became the very first Bhikkhuni to enter the order, and following her, there entered 500 other princesses and queens of the Shakya clan. So this is the beginning of the Bhikkhuni order in the world.
How did the Bhikkhuni order develop in Sri Lanka?
The Bhikkhuni order was first brought into Sri Lanka during the era of Emperor Ashoka in India, and that would be the year of 236 BC. And the order was brought in here by none other than the very daughter of the great Emperor Ashoka. And it was during the King Ven.Bhikkuni rule in Sri Lanka. We all know that the two kings have been on very friendly terms, and as a result of that friendship, King or Emperor Ashoka sent missionaries into Sri Lanka in that year. And upon the first sermon of the Venerable Mahinda Thero, 500 women were told to gain the first stage of enlightenment, or namely, they became stream entrants in the order. Therefore, the Princess Anula, who was among these 500 women, who also happened to be the wife of a brother of the King Ven.Bhikkuni, she wanted to enter the Bhikkhuni order. But at that time, there was no Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka. And the ordination of a female into the order by a male monk is forbidden in the Buddhist discipline. Therefore, Venerable Mahamahinda Arahant Thero informed the king that he needed to bring Bhikkhuni into Sri Lanka to establish the Bhikkhuni order here. And it is said in the Mahavansha that a minister by the name of Aritta was sent as a messenger to inform about this to the Emperor Ashoka and escort a Bhikkhuni into the country. But I have to say that there is a slight difference in the details given in the Mahavansha and Dipavansha. The details given about this incident in Mahavansha says that the Bhikkhu order was established first in Sri Lanka when the Princess Anula and the 500 other women made the request, and the request could not be fulfilled. But at the same time, the minister Aritta also made the request. It says in the Mahavansha that he also made the request and he was accepted into the order. But again, the Mahavansha mentions that Minister Aritta was sent to India as a messenger to bring down a Bhikkhuni to establish the Bhikkhuni order in the country. So it is not very clear whether it was the same person or two people, or whether the monk himself was sent to India. It is not very clear in Mahavansha. But in the Dipavansha, it gives quite a clearer description upon the incident. Dipavansha mentions that it was the Queen Anula and the other 500 women who wanted to enter the order first, and to establish the order, the minister Aritta was sent as a messenger. And there is no mention of the minister Aritta entering the Bhikkhu order at that time. According to Dipavansha, he went into India and brought down Bhikkuni Sangha, the very daughter of the Emperor Ashoka, into Sri Lanka along with the sapling of the Mahabodhi tree. So after that, she reached the shores of Sri Lanka on December, and after she reaching the country of Sri Lanka, the Bhikkhuni order was established, and having finished his missionary work, it is said that the minister Aritta also entered the Bhikkhu order at the same time along with the other women in the country. So according to Dipavansha, both the Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni orders were established at the same time. But when we go to Mahavansha, there's a slight difference. It says that Bhikkhu order was established first and Bhikkhuni order was initiated later. But it does not give a clear account. Who was this minister Aritta, who also entered the order and also went into India to bring down the Bhikkuni Sangha. So there is little confusion there. And we also know that Mahavansha is quite newer than the Dipavansha. But the commonly agreed story is the one mentioned in the Mahavansha. But I think we have to look into this more deeper, because the stories are different. However, the Bhikkhuni order was established when the Princess Anula entered the order under the guidance of Bhikkuni Sangha, and thereafter the Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka flourished in a very great way. And during the time of, during the period of the Anuradhapura kingdom, it is mentioned that the Bhikkhuni order was developed in Sri Lanka to an extent that the Bhikkhuni order was also taken to China by a Sri Lankan Bhikkhuni by the name of Devasara. She went into China and introduced the Theravada Bhikkhuni order into China as well during the kingdom of Anuradhapura. And there are loads of so many inscriptions mentioning offerings of temples and monasteries to the Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka. And also the common agreement is that Deepavansha is also a work of the Bhikkhunis of Sri Lanka at that time. And it is very clear by the accounts of Deepavansha and Mahavansha that the Bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka engaged in a wide array of fields like education and healthcare and various such fields as same as the Bhikkhus in Sri Lanka. But sadly, the Bhikkhuni order seems to have vanished quite mysteriously after the kingdom of Anuradhapura, because the inscriptions and all the evidence start to decrease after the period of the kingdom of Anuradhapura, and gradually any mentioning about the Bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka start vanishing from the historical accounts of Sri Lanka. So normally the common agreement is that the Bhikkhuni order disappeared from Sri Lanka during the kingdom of Anuradhapura. But later it is also widely known that the Bhikkhuni order was revived during the 1996 in Sri Lanka, and there are also some controversies about this act, and I think we should talk about that topic in a separate interview.